page. Today we have two special stand-ins, two special guests. I haven't had this lately. We got two special guests. Our first guest we have is Miss Bryson Williams from Weed Radio every Wednesday night from 6 to 8 o'clock. What's going on, Bryson?
Mike the Mike.
How you doing?
What's up?
Hey, man.
I appreciate that, but I'm not no guest. I'm a regular. I take my shoes off when I come to the door now.
Yeah, that's
I'm
true.
Not home.
I'm in the guest on the mic. We know you the person behind the scenes. Okay, I'm talking about a guest on the mic tonight, and I just want to say, speaking for Nick and we are definitely humbled to have you on here.
I miss them.
You know, your perspective is always respected and needed around here. And also, we have a special stand-in with tonight's topic. We think this definitely is going to be a good perspective. We have Miss Reverend Valerie Parker coming tonight.
Hey.
How you doing?
Good, good.
And Bryson, could you let the people know a little bit more about Valerie right now and exactly what she's going to bring to the table tonight?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Valerie Parker, where do I start? Candidate for her doctoral ministry at McCormick.
Yeah, McCormick Seminary.
It's so many of these preacher places going around here. At McCormick Theological Seminary, she is currently a student in Reverend Dr. Jeremiah Wright's big Show Your Love, Put Your Fist in the Air program. What's the technical term?
Let me sit my shoulders up. I'm slunching.
I'm straight.
I'm next to somebody now. Hold on.
No.
There you go.
There you go, Curtis.
No, it's the Reverend Dr. Jeremiah A. Wright Scholars in African-Centered Ministry and Thought.
And African-Centered Ministry and Thought. It's a whole bunch of words.
Well, we're glad to have you here, and we're going to really pick your brain on our subject tonight and our topics. Also, we want to give a shout out to D. Curtis Randall back there, our engineer, always keeping it, always looking out for us. Thank you, sir, for being my man back there. And for those that's listening and watching on Facebook, always remember you can call in 312-754-4333. Call up the UBM radio. Again, that is 312-754-4333. And tonight's show is surrounded around the mass incarceration, you know, within, you know, the black community and what we go through as, you know, black and brown, men and women. So we're gonna, you know, talk a little bit more about that today and how it affects our community and affects us and affects black families and how it splits up things. But we want to get to the root of it, not just talk about the effects of it. So I want to kick the show off when I'm asking the question to you, Bryson, or anyone who wanted to jump out there. When you talk about mass incarceration, the root of it is like imprisonment, you know. So are we focusing more on, how should you say, prison or rehabilitation? You see what I mean? Like, are we focusing more on the criminals and putting them into jail, you know, and basically like the time that they're going to commit for their crime? Are we focusing more on that, the punishment, rather than the, you know, the correction of the people? It's called corrections.
Right. You mean, is society focusing more on?
Yeah, because I think society, as far as how we look at it, we don't ask these questions about how we get these people, that's mass incarcerated people, you know, which is majority black and brown people, and we get these guys that go to jail. A lot of these guys don't get psych evaluations because they don't need it.
Right.
So when people are at jail at this mass, you know, number, you would think that folks would need some type of psychological help. But no one gets that psychological help because these are functional beings that's getting probably like some little crack laws, a little something down there. So when you think about that, we don't have like psychological help in these correctional facilities. And I think that's only because they know these folks aren't crazy. So what do we focus more on, locking people up or actually correcting them as a society?
Society, definitely. In my perspective and what I've learned working in corrections for a number of years and having a criminal justice background, society definitely focuses on imprisonment. It's, you know, I mean, I call it storage. It's like having a storage unit.
Strong word.
There's no rehabilitation, and I saw that for myself. And you know, as much as some of the programs are in place, the effort is not there from society and from the government. Because if it was there and if it was in full effect, the recidivism rate wouldn't be as high as it is. I watch kids, I work with juveniles, and I watch kids come in out of a 11-year career. In that, I watch kids come back and forth from the age of 13 all the way to 21. So you can't tell me that it's just them.
Right.
Because they're still at that age, at their formative years, where you're laying out that structure and that foundation. It's our job to train up a child, like we always heard in church,
Exactly.
I mean, it's in the book. So if we're not doing that, or if we're doing that and it's failing, then something's wrong. You can't just continue to blame that kid, especially if we send them back into the same environment.
Because all you hear about is lock them up. You don't hear
Right.
fix them.
Right.
You don't hear people say that. Lock his butt up. You don't ever say fix his butt. So like today's criminals ultimately gonna be tomorrow's neighbors. Everybody not getting life. So now you're taking the kid away when he's 13 and then you say you get 10 years. He's gonna be your neighbor. Wouldn't you want your neighbor to get correct before you put him back out there?
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to send that question to Reverend Val. Can I call you that?
Yeah.
Reverend Val. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah,
it just sounded a little smooth when I said it. I can call you.
I wonder if it sounds smooth.
Okay, well, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to say,
You know what else they call her real quick?
what's that?
Reverend Dr. Social Justice.
Oh.
She is about that movement.
Yeah. Well, Mike, I got a different take on it.
Okay.
But if you want me to answer your question, I'll answer the
Okay,
question.
you can do both,
Okay.
please.
I'll ask your question,
okay.
and then I'll.
Okay. By today's prisoners being tomorrow's neighbors,
Yeah.
shouldn't, as a society, shouldn't we ask for more corrections than we should ask, you know what I mean? Then we should ask for imprisonment.
Yeah.
I think we call for their head, but not call for their psych evaluations.
Yeah, I think that's a complicated question,
Okay.
which makes it a great question, right? So to talk about corrections without talking about how they got there, then you're really not correcting what ultimately is the problem, right? So the problem, in my opinion, part of the problem stems with policies, right? That drive why our black and brown bodies are there to begin with, right? So if you think about the Bush era, you think about the Clinton era, say no to drugs and all of those
Yes.
drug laws, right?
I was gonna get to that, you're
Yeah, well, I
absolutely
won't
right.
run ahead of you.
No,
right?
you're right, now keep
Yeah,
going,
yeah,
no,
but
we can go right into it.
That is in part why we are where we are today, right? And I would probably add, you can do with this what you will, this didn't just start. This is a continuation from slavery. This is just another form of enslavement, right?
Yes.
So we go from Reconstruction, we go to black codes, we go Jim Crow,
Yes.
we go civil rights.
Iran-Contra, the Contra scandal, that was huge, so, what you're saying right now, just continue, because I was gonna speak on these things, and we'll talk about it Tuesday, we like to let stuff come naturally. I'm not gonna say, wait a minute, I was gonna wait to talk about that. When it comes out, I really just love that, because it's a natural vibe.
Yeah.
So, I wanna get your perspective on that, because like you said, it is slavery. The 13th Amendment says what? Slavery is abolished unless for imprisonment.
Unless you commit a crime. For which it is punishable which is punishable, and the way we punish people is we, capture them.
Yes.
And then enslave them.
And capture, right.
And then no one, and to add to this, and what really sparked when I was researching for this, only the jails can administrate solitary confinement. Like a judge can't send you to that, or a prosecutor can't. So once you get your term, solitary confinement in any other country is deemed as torture. You understand? So when we found out that we're supposed to be the land of the free, and now with the mandatory minimum, so you take the power from the judges, and you give the power to the wardens, and you got mass communication, and I think this stems from exactly, I'm piggyback off what Reverend Val said with the slavery, because to be honest, I hate to say it like that, USA was built off of slave work. Okay, now that we get all these laws abolishing slavery and we starting to get educated black people and brown people, we cannot ignore that we were ahead of certain countries because of free labor, not because of just technology, not because of our brains, because we had an ability to create without paying. Now we have to find ways to make it. Mass incarceration is just another way to get everyone, it's like they don't know how to make it without this. It's our history. We leaving that out right now. We don't know how to make it as a country without slaves. We made it for so long, it was 600 years, free labor. Of course, now China and them that's why they light years ahead of us, because they're creators, they're innovators. We are real deal, say it like we want to, we got slave drivers. And what we're doing is we're spending $76 billion a year on jails. And then you can understand what I'm saying? And no other country, so that's part of our economy.
Right.
That's part of our economy.
It's a capitalist industry, so it's everything. It stems from the buildings that are built that we construct the buildings, to the food service that goes into the buildings, to the uniforms that incarcerated wear, even from our telephone system, right? So a person who's incarcerated makes a phone call. Phone call is several times higher than it would cost to make the phone call on the outside. So everybody's making money. So there is no appetite for stopping this problem. And so if we're looking for the government to stop it, the government capitalizes on capitalism. So they're not going to stop it. So I think that brings us back to how, you asked a very good question. Is it to rehabilitate, or is it to incarcerate? It's not to rehabilitate. It is simply to warehouse and incarcerate. And so what should we be doing? We should be looking at policies. I think you alluded to. We should be looking at laws. There are people who are sitting there complacent in terms of institutions, and I'm going to call it out. The church is quite complicit and complacent. Over the years, I think one of the pieces of data says that over 200 million people are behind bars. That's a 500% increase over the past 40 years for black and brown bodies, and we haven't addressed that. We're like you said. Well, and what we also haven't addressed. I'm gonna throw a whole bunch of stuff out there. Let you sort it out.
No, I love this. Just please go talk. This is what we talk about it means.
What we haven't addressed is what happens when you come out. If already. And I'm also in human resources. So if we already have the box that we check that says, were you convicted of a felony?
Yes.
Okay, now what do I do?
Now
right?
What do?
If we have drug tests, while you may not have used drugs inside, but your ability to cope when you get outside stems around drug and alcohol use, then you're not going to pass a drug test. If you can't get to work, because you don't have a stable home, you may even be homeless.
Yes.
And I think you hit on it at the very beginning. Mental health. I was talking to Bryson, Mike, and I don't know if she told you, we're doing a documentary, we're doing a screening of a documentary in March, Rikers, with some of the brothers and sisters who are actually incarcerated.
Rikers Island? I can't wait to see it. That is mental torture.
Yeah.
Okay, that place is nothing to play with. That's where Khalid Browder was at.
Yes,
Khalid Browder. If y'all know about the Khalid Browder story, if you're watching us, check it out on Netflix right now. I knew about his story long before Netflix. I'm just glad that it's really getting this exposure, So I really am. And stories like that happen every day, and what they want to do. And so I know we got a lot of young brothers watching tonight on purpose. What they want to do. We're gonna get to the Meek Mills. I know they watching for that, but that's second half. But what they want you to do is with the mandatory minimums, which is really crazy. You understand? When you're gonna tell a kid that you're gonna right now, you can get 10, like literally, if you have 10 grams of crack cocaine, 10 grams of crack, you automatically get like 25 years. Period. Period. It's mandatory. If you get caught with a kilo of cocaine, you won't get it. You won't get that. You'll get less than half of that time. And you gotta understand.
And they're doing that for weed now.
No, and you gotta understand when laws are made, and when you're not looking at the laws, because when they like she said in the beginning, it all goes back to imagery. Okay, when Reagan and we look at TV now, we take these YouTube and things for granted. At one point in time, Pat Sajak came on at 6:30. Like you knew what was coming on. You didn't have the freedom to watch what you wanted to watch. So when Reagan and them came out, they put crack out. Then they had Mr. T. I remember these things. Crack is whack, fool. Like it's making me know that crack is whack. You want to fly, little boy? We knew drugs was bad, but the imagery of drugs and the people using it look like me, look like my mom, look like my uncle. Look like us, and it was the imagery. So if we receiving it like that, how you think that the blacks of the whites gonna receive it? And I think that imagery of drugs and the people that I think that just really stuck. And then when the war on drugs came, the war on drugs is not black or white. So if you say the war on drugs, it's not racist. It's the war on drugs. But
Right.
then when you say the war on drugs,
The term is not racist.
so what they didn't have, they wasn't up there saying, hey, look at this weed, look at this cocaine, look at this heroin. They were saying, look at this crack.
Right.
And
So it was a war on black bodies. Tupac said a war on
Yes.
drugs so they can bother me.
Yes.
Being the black.
There you,
the
that's a
black
perfect quote for this. That's actually perfect. You know, that's perfect timing because that's exactly what he meant. So now the laws have to be set. Like basically, you have to set the fire. We known for this in our history. If you look at it, and know our history. The same guy that bought the guns sold them to his enemies. You know, and
Exactly.
this is what we do. So.
Infiltrated our community.
And this is what we do as a country. So now when everyone look at mass incarceration and they say it's a form of slavery, it really is because we don't know other innovative ways to collect that type of currency from that type of labor for free because our history is built off that. I think that's the black eye of our history. The slavery part. Everyone wants to get over it. I know Black Lives Matter, but what we cannot get over is our economic worth to this country.
Exactly.
And that's what it is, and they know it because they like if all these brothers is locked up, which what it does is take the father out of the household. When he comes back out, he can't get a job, he can't go to college, he got what else can he do? He
And
can't.
what does he do? Right.
What else does he do?
What does he resort to?
It's bad. So
Right.
how do people escape? It's not always taking a vacation. You got to get high to escape.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So these things that goes on every single day. Your kids look at you as less than a man. Your wife look at you as less than a man. But all you really was doing, you got caught with a bag of crack. And you went to jail for 7 years. A child molester got probation.
Tell it.
See what I'm saying? So this is what our laws is built off of, and for the youngest that's out there gotta understand, they give you murder charges for ecstasy, and a priest can rape a kid, literally, and get
It's a tap on the wrist.
a slap on the wrist, or a man can get caught with. Okay, we got two callers. Okay, we're gonna get back to them on our next hour. We got 2 callers. Tell them hold on, D. Curtis. 2 callers. So that's what I mean. Don't go nowhere. But a man that get taken out of the household, I think this was a strategic plan for mass incarceration. I don't think our country can live without it. Anytime you're getting $76 billion from something a year, you can't live without it. You know, like you just can't. So.
Well, this has just been, like I said, it's been going on for over 400 years since Reconstruction. And the intent has always been to keep people enslaved, right? If I could read a quote from W.
Yeah, no, feel free to do anything.
It says, you know, when we talked about how we went from Reconstruction to Black Codes, and Black Codes was just, you know, if you're vagrant, you need a job, Mike. You need to be working, because if I catch you in the corner, this was right after slavery was emancipated, 1866, 1867. I catch you on the corner because you don't have a job, I'm gonna take you in. But you don't have a job, because I'm not gonna give you a job.
Exactly.
And so, W.B. Du Bois said the slave went free, stood a brief moment in the sun, then moved back to slavery. And the newly free slave had their brief moment in the sun, but moved back towards the systems of control. So this is where we've been since post-Reconstruction. We've been moving back to systems of control because the colonial folks, you know, this Eurocentric world, country that we live in, have kept systems of control. And so if we don't deal with those systems of control, we may not be, but our children's children are gonna be sitting right here in Mike's seat having this same conversation 50 years from now.
Well,
It's definitely in a minute.
well, look, man, we're gonna take a break right now, man. That was really enlightening, right? Anytime you get W. Du Bois on Talk About It Tuesday, we definitely are humbled to have that. Call in 312-754-4333. Tell us about the mass incarceration in the black community and how it affects you. Call in, Facebook questions right now. Let's go to break, Kurt.
Mercy, mercy me.
That's really good stuff right there. What's going on, school?
No, I'm cool. Stay out there.
No, you good? What's going on?
No, it's not.
Not this month, please.
What's that? Oh, okay. What we got on us? All right, cool. Okay.
Hey, Mike, there were no callers. I was just saying.
I know. I saw. I figured that.
All
I
right.
figured. Hey, look, Curtis.
Yeah.
When you do that, Could you just do one favor for me? Like,
Yeah,
this first,
and then
do
two, right.
Break two. All right, cool. Thank you. Okay.
Mike, you laying your facts all the way out.
I mean, I really.
This stuff right here be making me want to stand on the table and trying to be sure.
Put the dad on you? Yeah, dad on you, brother. But it's okay.
Oh, it died?
Yeah, it's all right. No, it's all right. I had it already.
And then, I mean, it's tripped out. I was looking at these notes from the NAACP. The numbers are just ridiculous. It's like we make, and these stats are just a little dated, but it's like we're 32%, us along with the Hispanics. What is 56% incarceration level?
That's a damn.
You know what I mean? It's like, that makes no sense. Where we at? Shout out to Nik Pharrell. Shout out to Big Ant.
Big Ant, Nick, man, look, everybody, you did perfect, right there, Bryson. Keep it going, because I'm getting on something right now. This is a good one here.
Nick, keep doing your thing, Big Ant. We are praying
Yes, I
for
have a
you
shirt.
and your wife's
Action versus
family.
Yapping shirt?
I definitely will get you one. That is cool. No problem. I'm the shirt man.
Actions, but he got some nice shirt, and they ain't none of them just regular. They're not just regular shirt, you know. He got, you know, the hood that way,
I like that.
hood up and down, inside
I'm
out,
gonna
different
look
kind
it
of
up.
colors.
I'm gonna look it up.
He has a nice shirt.
I'm gonna make sure we get some support out here for you. He definitely appreciate it. Oh,
Oh, man.
oh, man. Is that Sam? You know I know a little bit about what I'm talking about, Curtis. How you doing, man? Talk about the Tuesdays, man. That's how them boys be sounding on that chain gang.
I'm telling you.
Right now, back when they on that chain gang, man, swinging back and forth, man, wanting to go home, but they can't even go home. So, one of the things that I don't think people understand, and I want to throw a name out to folks right now, if y'all are watching this, and this is going to get back right to what we were talking about, is Iran-Contra.
Mhm.
Okay, I want you to look up Iran-Contra, and then what this man did, you know, and how the CIA investigated him for buying cocaine from Nicaragua, and it was a real life investigation and a ploy to put these amounts of cocaine inside of, you know what I'm saying, these amounts of cocaine inside of San Francisco and Los Angeles. And I want y'all to really look at this. The Supreme Court went through it. It was real. The whole thing, they had heavy amounts of cocaine. It's called the Contra scandal. And if you look up this, the CIA went through it. Large quantities from Nicaragua, which you know who was in Nicaragua. You know what I'm saying? So we get this in there. Now the USA didn't investigated this man and everything. Check it out, 1985. It's called the Contra scandal. He has large quantities of cocaine to come inside of Los Angeles. Now what happens is the black people, we ain't got enough money to be buying no $200 bags of cocaine. It's just automatic facts. That is some Hollywood stuff. We cool. So what they do, bring the Peruvians in, teach them how to do a little stuff with the, you know, whatever. Master P made a song about it. And then came crack. You know, stuff that was affordable. You know, and people thought it was a party drug. You know what I mean? So they went at crack. So these were Iran-Contra. After they did that, they had two major parties to go after. The black community and the hippies who was trying to be anti-war. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So when the war stopped, you ain't gotta go after hippies no more. Ain't no more anti-war. But the party on black folks still, so now what happened? Come the crack laws with Reagan and everything like that. So what that does is heighten the fear of the black male and makes us look like criminals from Jump Street. That's what it does. So fast forward to right now, when you got corrections and you go to jail, jail is to either punish the person, this is what jail is for, to punish the criminal, prevent that person from doing anything else, or it's anyone else that looked at that person for doing that, or correct them. That's it. That's what jail is for. So we got a young man named Meek Mill who's been on probation for 11 years. Probation for 11 years. The man has gave over $7 million of his own money back to Philadelphia via schools, charity work, fundraisers, funerals. You know, he's been on probation for 11 years. He just went to jail for popping a willie in New York.
Mm-hmm.
The man just popped a wheelie on a motorbike in New York, and he's in jail now, almost facing 2 years for violating his probation for popping a wheelie.
Right.
And then you got a guy that just raped, the guy, what's his name? I think it's Dylan or Justin or what, he just got off, or whatever he did, he got off for 6 months. You go on Facebook and look at the little Meek Mill meme or whatever, and they showing you what the time is. I think that was an attack not on hip hop, but because Meek Mill made an album and he was really talking about like getting off drugs, telling the kids to really get off drugs, and Percocets wasn't good, and lean wasn't good, telling kids to invest more in buildings instead of investing more in chains, and by him just being 28 years old and kind of switching the temperature of what he was talking about, I really clearly think, in my opinion, this was an attack on what he was saying and what he was starting to stand for,
There
more
was
than.
definitely some backdoor stuff
Yeah.
involved. Some backdoor stuff involved, and it's like, 2 steps forward, 12 steps back all the time, unfortunately. And, the courts played him. The courts played him, and I'm gonna be very honest, Meek Mill, I was not about Meek Mill prior to this. Him and the whole Nicki Minaj thing, I just had an opinion, that's all.
Right.
But, but at the end of the day, right is right, wrong is wrong. And if this man is sowing a seed back into his community, back into our communities, and because basically you wouldn't play into what somebody else wanted you to play into.
Yes.
And they had the upper hand.
Yes.
You throw the book at the brother.
Did you hear about what she was asking?
Yeah.
She wanted her name shouted out in the song.
You just want to be famous.
I want a
So
picture
you
with
couldn't
Nicki
acquire-
Minaj with an
Exactly.
autograph. Put me in the, this is a judge requesting these things.
Right, that someone has elected in. So you couldn't acquire your fame through Meek Mill, through that, for what you requested or
Yes.
what you demanded. Now you've acquired your fame in another way.
Yes, and the karma is coming in the worst
I'm
way.
telling you.
That they was outside of that man was Joe Clark.
I-
They had the whole jail. Everybody was out there, and I think that's the backlash of really now when people saying stay woke. Now Meek Mills, what they doing with him, because he is, I think, a victim of this petty stuff that's going on right now. They didn't caught one. A real live, we don't have in this age, I don't think, a Martin Luther King or a Malcolm X, because I think people are scared of the outcome of being like that, speaking that highly and they think they're a target. Now it's funny.
Exactly.
And when you think about this, every great white leadership that we ever think about, just leaders. You could never, I heard this, I forgot where I heard it, you could never think of a black leadership or a black party, ever, that was just trying to lead their people that wasn't followed by the police, or followed by the CIA or the FBI. The white leaders that we got, the white inventors that we got, they are free to lead and free to do what they want
Outside
to
of
do.
just protection or
Yeah.
safety purposes.
Yeah, when a black male or a black woman is doing it, they gotta get ran out the country for words. They haven't killed nothing. It's because the power of really knowing back to what we're saying with mass incarceration, I believe that is the secret of our country. Other countries know that. We take up 5% of the population, 25% of our population is in jail.
Yes.
Yet we got the land of the free on all our money. How are we the land of the free?
We're not.
How? And everybody in jail. And then look like everybody in jail look like what? Black and brown. And it's not just the men. I want y'all to look at some of these stats on the women, the black women that's in jail. Look at it. And it's only because when you know, and just dig this though, man, for real, this is real talk. If you know a country has been built off of slavery, if I know my ace in the hole, no matter what I go through, TVs, we ain't gonna make no more better than Sony and them. Over there, China, they gonna make more TVs than us. People can make better cars than we can, but they don't wanna make the cars like us. They wanna live clean. We always done with the next Chevy. They got trains that go 400 miles per hour. We spend money on jails like they spend money on institutions. And that's what they don't get with us. Like, why y'all have so much crime? It's not the crime, it's the laws. The laws are in place to incriminate people. So when you incriminate this person, he becomes a number. When this person becomes a number, he now works for us. Slavery all over again.
Any way you want to toss it up, slice it and dice it, they put on these fancy words or these other terms, whatever the case, I mean, you can go into racism, same thing, you know, it's still very, very, very present. But they, you know, put a little icing on the cake, you know, if you will, it's the same terminology, I'm with you, all.
Probation is wrong. How do you feel about the probation? Like, okay, I come home, now I get to come home finally, because I ain't got no more room for me, right? I ain't coming home because I'm fixed. I'm only getting probation because they telling me this, and they ain't even saying, we ain't got no more room for you, we gonna give you probation. Not because I've done good, not because I've been in the library reading, because I got my GED, all these things y'all telling me I gotta do when I keep getting denied my parole.
Yeah.
But because for now, a dude that did a triple murder coming in, and my little crack charge ain't nothing no more, I done my little 13 years, I can finally get my,
13 years.
yeah, I done my little 13, now, okay, you can get parole for the rest of your little 7. But now you're on probation, meaning you better not leave the block.
And you better call in.
You better, and see, this is what I'm saying. People don't understand, probation is still jail.
It's still jail.
So how do you feel about when folks think, well, I'm about to get, as long as you give me probation, I'm straight. They are psychologically built
Right.
conditioned to
Exactly.
think that they're free,
Yeah.
but they're not. And they want to live around free people and do free stuff, and they know. So probation, how do you feel about the probation? Like, should we have a system for the people who, you know?
Well, I mean, you know, I haven't really thought about it, so I'm glad you raised it, but probation, you're right, is an extension of incarceration. And when you let people go, you know, after they've done their 13 years, right, for you know, wow, you know, but so they go home. But if they're struggling to put their coins together,
Yes.
then ultimately they're just gonna do something. They're gonna do one little thing wrong.
Because they don't have the wherewithal anymore.
Right, they don't have the support.
Time
They-
has gone by, years
Right.
of, I mean, things.
And
have
they don't
changed,
have
systems
support.
have changed.
Support is
So
key.
you know, so if you come home, and this is what the guys and women at Rikers were saying, you come home and you have absolutely no support, and you spent 13 years and 6 years of it in solitary confinement. You know, first of all, the brother said, I went there, I was fine mentally. When you come out, your mental health, so we don't have no mental health for you, you know, treatment for you. We have no job for you. Don't leave the house, don't leave the block, don't drink, don't drive, don't look at a pretty white woman, don't do any of that.
Still.
Don't,
Still.
you know.
Another form of silence. And that's torture. Literally, every other country that we deem as just savages, they say, man, we would not do that. We are not going to take one person and put him in a cell for 13 years by himself. We would never do that. Ever. That is psychological torture. And we do that a lot in our country. So, and I think in the black community, what I think hurts us the most is we just can't, we gotta have some accountability. I'm one of them type of people. You gotta have some accountability, man. A lot of black folks really don't know the laws. We are built to come up to like see the police and be like, oh, there go the police. We don't feel like they supposed to protect and serve us. It's naturally, innately in us to see the police and be like, get tense. It should not be that way. And in order for that to change, in my opinion, is for us to police ourselves. And it's hard for us to police ourselves out here with, you know, folks being still tricked that we are these crazy savages through this social media. We got good stand-up people in society. We'll never get those cameras. Like, we would never get those people. We want to see I'm not calling just names, but I'm just, anybody on VH1, the folks get, make no sense, those reality shows. They'll want to get those sisters on there, banging bodies and all that. And people think that don't add to mass incarceration. People think
it's the mindset. It's the mindset. You know, you hit on something. No King, no Malcolm X, you know, no Stokely Carmichael,
Right,
no, those folks. You know, no Angela. I mean, Angela Davis is around, but she can't continue to fight by herself. We've lost a generation that is attuned to black consciousness. We've lost a generation, right? So you spot on. So you know, got all this social media, got all this TV. So I'm watching, you know, I hope I don't mess up your show. You know, Housewives of Atlanta, all that kind of, you know, nonsense. Still, we deal with nonsense, and then we
ratchet TV.
Right, ratchet TV. Thank you for helping me with that. We pick up those behaviors, and then we take them out. But if I tell you, you know, you are a king or queen from Africa, I ain't from no Africa, but I believe I'm a ratchet, you know, so and so from Atlanta. What?
They claim it, and they claim
and they
it.
claim it.
And you just hit on something perfect, man. And I want piggyback and say, you are right, we lost 40 years of a gap of leadership. Where the leaders are at. We lost our leadership in jail. Like some of them people, like, you know, you gotta think, Fred Hampton died at 21 years old. Like Martin Luther King and them, they started, they was young men.
Yeah, they were.
They was really young men.
Mhm.
So you gotta understand, like, I always say this, George Washington Carver did more with a peanut than we can do more with an iPhone. If you gave that man a Google computer, who knows what he would have made? And I just understand, I think that is what they stripped from us. Our know-how, what we can do. They put the depiction of they wanted to scare us to go to jail, period. You a jailbird.
Mhm.
That's what you're gonna do. 1 in every 3 black male right now will go to jail. That is a statistic. You understand what I'm saying? So for every 30 black men that walk in the door, 10 are gonna be criminals. That is scary. If you got 3,000 black men walking, it's 1,000 criminals. But if you got 3,000 white men, it's not like that. I'm scared of 1,000 criminals. So, but if it's really 1,000 criminals, what if it's just a 3,000 black men with no felonies at all? The statistics say that that is wrong. So innately you're gonna get scared. But what if I had 3,000 black reverends that never went to jail? The statistics say that it's 1,000 criminals over there.
Yeah, you government made.
So no one is gonna even wanna go over there and get a blessing because they cannot weed through who's the criminal and who's not. And that is something that's scary to the public, which heightens the sense of police activity. Because you got these folks saying, hey, I got this many black folks living down there. It's 5 of them down there. 2 of them gotta be criminals. It says it right here. How could you pick out who is who? So that's what, like the stop and frisk in New York. If you go down to Wall Street and go in a couple of them of suit jackets, you're gonna find some cocaine. Trust me. Oh man,
And then some.
you think them dudes up there doing
And
all this
then
stuff
some.
like that just regular?
Oh my God.
But no, you go down to the Bronx and stop a dude with a book bag on,
Right,
like Khalid Browder, and send him to jail. He want to get out of jail and kill himself. You see what I'm saying? That's what I mean. Go stop and frisk some people that you know is. If they frisk 100 folks on Wall
You
Street,
match the description.
exactly. You fit the of what though?
Yeah.
A criminal. Says who? Reagan. Us. The TV.
Says your skin.
Says the law and order. Says cops. Says anything that you see that got something to do with anything. If you see if it was all black police officers locking up nothing but white people, the movie would not look like reality. They'd be like, what is this? Some type of,
This is boring.
what is this? Is this some type of spoof y'all doing? So you telling me all black people, is black police officers just walk around shooting white boys? What type of movie is this?
Right.
You know, but if it's a black, this is life imitating art. Cause it's that real. You see what I'm saying? So when you talk about mass incarceration, sometimes we feel like we out here anyway. They think that we beasts. They think that we like that anyway. So look, if we already were slaves, why would they want us free now? You understand me? If it's a man right now I was just talking to this weekend at our food drop, 85 years old, man, he was telling me thanks for doing what I'm doing for the community. He would have never been able to do something like this coming up. So I thought about that 85. I did the math. Man, he couldn't even drink out the same water. I did the math myself on my own to think about this. So I'm thinking,
Well, I'm not gonna put myself out there, but the year I was born, they still were not drinking.
and see,
And go ahead and look at me and tell me you don't look that old.
you do not look
All
that
right,
old at
all right,
all.
all right.
At all. So and when you really think about that and understand in that mentality, we came somewhere. We feel like we came. For someone to feel like they won, it's only natural for someone to feel like they lost. That's only natural. So who's the loser? I know I'm never mad when I win. I know I'm mad when I lose. They lost something. They right to eat by themselves, to drink by themselves. You know what I'm saying? To use the bathroom by themselves. And they wanted to always feel like when you lose, what you want to do? Get that dude that beat you. And you're going to find a way. And I think mass incarceration has always been a way to break up families and break up what we was doing. And only thing it can't break up is this show right here, but I can. So we're going to go on break right now, man. Call us 312-754-4333. Call us right now, man. I want y'all to talk to Miss Valerie Parker and Bryson. We got 2 guests tonight. Shout out to Nik Pharrell, Big Ant, Mikethemic, you being radio, be in the mix. Hit us up ASAP. Curtis be doing this. I be breaking him to the last 5 seconds, but I got my
You
count
be
in
like,
my head. Yeah.
He said we got 2 calls right now.
Did he?
Did he say we had, did we?
No, he was telling me 2 minutes.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
And I was like, all right, cool. I thought we had 2 calls.
But
Right
maybe
there,
another
though.
2 hours.
Man, this is cold, man. I like this. This is really good. For real. This is good. Yeah, man. I got that. I know the child molesting and child pornography gets less time than crack
Oh,
cocaine.
yeah. I mean, all you gotta do is have your little name on a little list or whatever, but them mugs still get employed,
That's it.
everything.
So now I want to go into like she was saying. We touched on everything I was going to talk about. That's why we can always revisit, which is cold because they know we ain't just all scripted. So I can always revisit because I know the business of it. It's kind of hard to stop it. Like, just for instance, the NBA said y'all can't do this. Y'all got to dress up.
Right.
They said no, we ain't dressing up. Okay, we ain't doing it. Like, you understand why when a black person ever rise up and say we ain't doing what y'all say y'all gonna do it, they play with us for a minute, but then they don't play with us that much because it's all about the money. Like Kaepernick, what Papa John them say, hey bro, he the one broke. Everybody been losing money, but they've been keeping it on the low. Papa John's one playing, hey fam, we losing bread. Once he said it, so many people start calling in, we losing bread too. We losing bread too. One knee losing bread. What if all the knees happen?
So that's the thing, what now? That's probably what we can go into, what now? You know?
You about to say something? Yes, something?
Mm.
Okay, yeah, so that's what I really wanna do, like, how do we, and we just can't prevent people from going to jail, but it's a system. That's the easiest thing to say, well, we can't, no, it's a law to say, man, you do something. It's, all I think that we can do is really like, just the business of it, man. Like, how do we get into the business of it? Like, how do we create new things, like be innovative, like for real, like, how do we find out, like they were saying Michael Jordan bogus was buying into jails. If that's true, why? He said Michael Jordan was bogus because he bought into some jails. When we want black folks in the, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, it sound funny because the first thing we think about is that, like, I will want more of my people controlling where my people at in any form or fashion. Like, I'm taking my money out of, we don't do this. Hold on, Mike. Let me see if that can work. Things like that happen with money and business. I'm trying to tell folks, man. Hey, we back right now, man. UBM Radio. Call us at 312-754-4333. Today's show was about the effects of mass incarceration in the black community, and basically what it does to households and the mentality of the black man when he get out. And we got a special guest today, Ms. Reverend Valerie Parker. She's been hitting us with some real good perspectives and some facts. And we all, you know, y'all always know about Bryson. Bryson gonna make sure she bring it every time, and we just happy to have them on here. So 312-754-4333. And big business, man. Mass incarceration is big business at the end of the day. They not in there for free. Everybody is working in some form of fashion, like Reverend Val was saying. I know when one of my guys called me, it's like $12 to pick the phone up.
For real.
$12 to talk to him for 5 minutes. 12, and then you feel bad because you know he in there.
Right.
You like, well, I gotta pick up, man. I gotta press 5.
Right.
Okay, cool. What up, bro?
But
And he just want,
only got 5
and then
minutes.
he wants you to call somebody else. Hey man, they got me blocked. You call from your phone,
Right.
and then I can sneak up on them. Now I gotta be on 3-way listening. Why you? It's just crazy of what you gotta do. Then think about it. They got certain institutions where you can't even hug your people. You gotta talk to them through a TV,
Right.
an iPad. Now these folks that drove 3 hours to see you and they can't even touch you. Psychologically breaking you and the person with you. So I wanna just talk about the business. You know why they do that? Because they gotta be able to use the TVs. They have to be able to use that. They have to be able to order new iPads and make these prisoners, hey man, they are too crazy to even be out in the open.
Some quote unquote justification.
Justification to keep doing these trumped up,
Yeah.
no pun intended,
Right.
these trumped up charges, you understand, and make sure they got the funds to do this. So big business is one thing, but using human bodies to like kind of like fund your business is kind of sick to me.
Yeah.
And I think the way they prey on young black men as far as stop and frisk, the crack laws, which is the worst law ever. I'm sorry. I ain't saying crack is good. I just do not believe that you should get more time for crack than you should get for being a child molester. I am sorry. Push as much crack as you want, leave them kids alone. Because it's one thing about a crack dealer, it's a crack user. It's a marriage. This dude wants something, this dude got it. It's a marriage.
It's a call and response.
They will not, what kills me is they never lock up the crack users. Now you done bought the same $10 bags about to get him 4 years. You didn't smoke and you straight because you know, guess what? You the trap.
Right.
Without you, I can't lock him up.
Well, they're not, you know, in the eyes of society, they're not worth anything anyway. So I got these over here who I'm locking up, and these over here. Well, once they finish with their crack, they're still not human to me. They can't do anything.
They're not a threat.
They're not.
They gonna end up breaking in something, and we gonna catch them too.
Or they're gonna end up killing themselves. So
Which is true.
Right. So we're fine with that.
And I want y'all to understand that is really, suicide is really big in mass incarceration. By being incarcerated, when you say mass, the word mass, for folks who don't understand, we keep saying the word mass incarceration. We mean heavy loads of people, slave ship type thing. You know what I'm saying? Like folks that's in jail right down from the ages of 13 to 56. You got 13-year-old boys that's getting 20-year sentences right now for an 8-ball of crack in a handgun.
I was watching the news the other day. There's a young Latina girl who, I think she was 16, whatever. But you know the story where she murdered her pedophile rapist.
Yes.
You know, put her in sex trafficking. She murders him because he's allegedly reaching for the gun. She feels her life is even more threatened, is already threatened being in that situation. And she's 16, I think, and gets life. Life imprisonment for what you're talking about. This pedophile over here, not only using her body, but handing her body out for others to use.
And a slave bought her from out of her slave trade to put her in something else. Like bought her. And this is the word bought, property. Okay, and then like she is on, this should be self-defense anyway. Just on GP if he wasn't reaching for a gun. If she mustered up enough strength to go downstairs and get a cleaver, excuse me, and do what she had to do to him, we should deem this as self-defense, you know what I'm saying? Because she had the psychological strength. What's the difference with her doing that if he was dragging her into the trunk that very moment?
Right.
And I think that's what happened.
Especially as a minor.
And what kills me is this, and this is what I want to put on with mass incarceration and let y'all know the unfair of inside the black community. I think it should be a case-by-case basis. You cannot sit here and tell me that because I did this, I gotta get the mandatory sentence for this. Okay, you kill somebody, he killed somebody. Each circumstance is different. This guy then did this to me, this to me, this to me. This circumstance happened, I hate to do this, no, it don't even matter what happened. Don't matter what happened. If this man is dead, and at any time you going to jail, hey man, the crack is not even mine. Literally. The dude, you just saw the dude throw the crack in, it don't matter. The crack on you, you're going to jail. We don't care about nothing. It's like certain 3 strikes. It don't matter what the crime is.
3 strikes.
Hey, I stole from Walgreens 3 times in a row. You should have did a bigger crime because you're going to jail.
You did better.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Your whole life, man. You should have just went on and murdered somebody.
So when you understand, when people don't understand living your life, not just as a black person, but as a black man in America, man, I don't think people understand the height of fear that we really have, knowing that it is any day of our life, not just the guy that may look like us, not the homeboy or the rob or whatever. We know the people who are here to protect us have the law on their side, not just the gun. See, this stuff with shooting people, that's been happening. That's been happening. We've been scared of getting shot. I'm not scared of little getting shot as much as more of I'm scared of an unfair justice system. That's what I'm more scared of, an unfair justice system, because they will take you in jail if you don't have the money up front, $15,000, $2,000. I have a situation right now where I know a kid, he gets in trouble. He needs $4,500 to get out. He do not get out of jail. I'm not saying no names. He don't have the money to get out of jail. He gets in a scuffle up in there. Now he got 3 years.
Right.
The man got 3 years. I'm gonna tell you, the man get 3 years for getting caught with some marijuana. But he couldn't get $4,500. The boy ain't gonna poop in the windstorm. He probably went in there, got scared, tried to toughen up, got into a fight, ended up doing 2 years over something. If he had $4,500, he never would have seen jail, ever. And that's what I'm talking about right now with mass incarceration. So now when I take the fathers out the house, like she was saying from the beginning, in the 80s, we been did this. Strip the leadership. We gonna scare y'all. Back in slavery days, I want all y'all slaves to walk that way. I'm not walking that way. The biggest gun, shoot the boy in the head, shoot the biggest man in the head. I want y'all all to walk that way. We walking that way. What they do to Martin Luther King, shot him in the head in front of everybody. I want y'all to keep getting up here talking about all our great leaders get what to them. That's on purpose. Then they show the blood, they show the bullets. That is strategically put there. They could poison them, they can do anything. They do not do that. So when that started getting, okay, every time we kill one of them, what they do? They was just gonna flat out kill us in the beginning. Okay, what they do? They revolt, we shall overcome. Let's just lock them all up. Lock them up. Lock up the Larry Hoovers, the Jeff Fords. Lock them all up. All the gang chiefs that can really unite. Lock them up. What's next? Okay, we done locked up, we killed everybody, locked up the leaders. Let's turn everybody out. Crack cocaine. Why? Because they don't know no better. What they gonna do? And they broke. Somebody gonna get paid off of it.
Right.
So boom, now what they do? Invent crack laws. We have always been subjects. These are the same people that would take us to a warehouse and tar and feather us. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't forget that. I know it's heinous to talk about, but that's what incarceration is.
That's the truth.
So we gotta think of the people who run this system are the same people who would leave a restaurant on the site of us. And this is in the 50s. We're not that far removed from that. So we ain't that far removed. So when you understand that, A, they never wanted to be around us, period. That's from the beginning. You know, B, we were once their property. That's a fact in American history that we don't like to. And then C,
That's being removed.
And then C, we took our freedom back, like so to speak. Hey man, we ain't going for that. We ain't working. We ain't doing for that. So what we did was kind of took what they did in history and switched it up. Now you ain't never supposed to have your dogs eating at the table. Your dog ain't never supposed to be the president of your country. You feel what I'm saying? We was dogs. One male was 2 horses. Are you serious? You gonna trade LeBron James and Michael Jordan for a horse? When? On what earth? You gonna give up Michael Jordan and LeBron James for a horse? No, but back then, that's what we was worth. I need 2 dudes for this horse. What? So you gonna give up Denzel Washington and Morgan Freeman for a horse? It'll never happen. So our worth then got up. As our worth got up for ourselves, they knew as their worth go up, our worth come down. It's natural balance. What we gotta do to keep our worth up? Lock them up and turn them out on crack.
Do something with them.
And leave they woman alone. When they women alone, who they daddy? Welfare. That's the daddy. Welfare with these babies. And so mass incarceration deeper than just getting some convicts out the street. They deliberately, strategically break up the black homes, take the strength, which is the male, out of there. So now who the other men gotta look up to? Who getting the money? The crack dealers. We just build a nation of criminals, a nation of a mindset to think, I'm a lame if I court a woman without calling her a B. I'm a lame if I ain't got a fat rollie. I'm a lame if I got to walk outside and not have the biggest. How you going to get that much money working a job? You're never going to get it.
Right.
Ever. You can't get a work, and you can't work a job anyway. Why? Because I stole out of CVS before.
I don't want nobody to be in charge of me. I want to be my own. I don't want nobody telling me what to do. I don't want to punch no clock.
So
I don't wanna go back to school and learn that I don't need to do that.
I'm rich now. I'm paying my mama rent now. So that's what mass incarceration do, man. It make you think about why you should really love being on the outside, man. And I love being on the outside, man. But today on the inside, we got the nice and lovely Bryson Williams, man. And she brung with her backup, man. Reverend Valerie Parker, man. I really do want to thank you, Queens, for coming through. Your perspective was needed, as we want to find out just how the black women really feel about this subject, because you guys go through it too. So I just want to thank y'all for coming out and really, you know, I can lean on y'all with this. I feel real confident about the perspective we got today, and I just really honestly want to just thank you guys for really being prepared and just doing what y'all do. I thought it was a great show.
Yeah, I like
You
it.
know, I thought it was a great show. Curtis, man, thank you so
D.
much.
Curtis.
Hey, I want y'all to be in the mix. UBM Radio, UBM, Urban Broadcast Media. Go get the app right now. Call us up 312-754-4333. Man, this is Mikethemic for Miss Bryson Williams and Reverend Valerie Parker. We'll see y'all next Tuesday, 7 o'clock, like always, man.
Talk
Peace.
about it Tuesdays.